Right, Total Pro Nation, Lambros Water Sports, featuring the Big Brother featuring Total Pro Nation, obviously. Pac-12 matchup of the night to watch out for. USC coming off a blown out loss against my Notre Dame team, which is great. Utah is one of those teams where they're still competitive. They don't have Cam Rising. They have Nate Johnson. There's possibly a game where he comes back. I don't think he does because he tore his ACL in January. We're in October. Um, it's hard for me to predict this because Utah defense is great, but consistently on offense they've been a struggle all season. So in this game, and I understand USC does not have a great defense, obviously. I don't think Caleb Williams will have a bad game again. Well, not ever again, but like a 3 interception game he had against Notre Dame. I don't think it's ever going to happen again. Um, but if Utah can run the ball effectively again, they can beat them. But they don't have Cam Rising, and I think if Cam Rising is not played, the chances are limited. So I want to pick Utah. Um, I'm going to go ahead and take USC to win this game just because Caleb Williams and Nate Johnson. I mean, Nate Johnson's great, but he's a freshman. And it doesn't look good for Utah. I know you said you'll pick them until they lost. They lost to Oregon State, obviously, but I'm going to take USC. I want Utah to win. I like Utah, but without Cam Rising, it just makes it tough for me to pick them.
Yeah, you're right. I was riding Utah for a while. Well, for 5 weeks, I should say. And I said I was going to ride them until they lost, and they lost. And the offense has looked like shit for the past like 3 weeks. Maybe stretch it to 4 if you want. They don't trust, like you said, he's a freshman. I get it, but they don't trust Nate Johnson to throw the ball. And good reason. He's barely above 50%. And then on the other side, they've given Barnes an equal amount of opportunity behind center as well. And he's barely above him in completion percentage, but it's because he throws shorter passes. He's going for more, dinks and dunks rather than longer throws, which is ironic considering we watched the first game of the year against Florida and Barnes started the season out with like a 70-yard touchdown to start the game. So obviously the trust in those two quarterbacks has gone down a lot. And I understand Nate Johnson can add in the running game as well, but neither one of them are good in the pocket. The only positive I really take out of the passing game is that Johnson hasn't turned the ball over. But that also comes with he holds on to the ball for a while, and he's lost 80 yards in sacks because of that. Obviously not all because of him, but the Utah O-line has been solid for the past few years, and it was supposed to be solid this year as well. So you can't put all 8 of those sacks on the O-line when your quarterback is standing back there for 5 seconds. Like it just can't work. But going on to the other side, I don't think that USC is going to put up 45 just because of how good the Utah defense is. I know that they've had some up and down performances this year, but I do think that this defense is good. I mean, they allowed 21 to Oregon State, and that was the most they've allowed all year. And I'm not comparing the Oregon State offense to the USC offense. I understand Caleb Williams much better than DJ and the whole situation. Like I get it, but I will say that the defense has been the reason that they've been kept in games. Last week, obviously, they put up 34 points in offense. That was cool, but we haven't seen that at all this year against actual opponents. So they show flashes on offense. The defense, I think, will keep the game close. But Caleb Williams is still the best quarterback in the country. I got to trust him over 2 backups and like a true freshman in the opposite quarterback room. But I don't think it's going to be like 45-10 or something. Like I think it'll be maybe 28, maybe like 32-24 or something like that.
Right. Last and final episode of the night, Clemson versus Miami. Now I understand Clemson is not the top tier team we want them to be. Miami come off that horrendous loss to Georgia Tech. They'll probably be a top team in the ACC if it weren't for the loss, but they also lost to USC as well. We'll let you know your thoughts or our thoughts on the next episode of Levels Motor Sports. We're going on to Clemson versus Miami. I think it'll be a matchup to watch. I think it'll be competitive. It'll be explosive. But Levels Motor Sports, Total Pole Nation, Science Sports Network. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you later for the final episode of Clemson versus Miami.